Hello there. Welcome to this week's astrology forecast. My name is Aura. I am your crypto astrologer. This is my website, auraright.media, and I'm going to give you an update on what's happening with silver because it has gone ballistic over Christmas. I will touch on Bitcoin. I will come out tomorrow with the Bitcoin crypto astrology video. That's coming out on every Tuesday. And I will give you that heads up on what's going on with the astrology this week. Okay. So, first of all, okay. I don't even know where to start. Okay. So, first of all, silver. All right. So, just so you know, in case you're new here, I had a channel for over a decade, where I predicted what's just happened with silver. Okay. My first prediction was in October that we were going to shoot through 50. I said, blink and you'll miss it. It shot through 50, dropped back down to about 49. And then I said, blink again and you'll miss 60. And then in December, a month later, boom, we went through 60. And now I have another prediction that is gearing up to happen. You can go to my Telegram group where I've given a lot more updates on that. That is in the description box below. And then I have a member prediction for what's going to be happening come the next few months. So here's what's going on with silver. So silver, of course, shot up. We had this massive Christmas rally and people, the internet went crazy over it. We had people happy about it. And then of course it got crashed down yesterday. So we got to about a high of just over $81 yesterday on the open of the Shanghai market, which is, the Asian markets where they are trading actual real physical metals. Okay, so that's a real market. And then our markets, our COMEX that has been manipulated, repressed with longs and short positions by the big guys like JP Morgan, who has been secretly, every time they smashed silver down, every time they kept it low, they were secretly stockpiling it. Turns out they have 70 million ounces, which is an insane amount of silver. It's a lot. It's a huge amount. They have a lot more than the LBMA, the London Bullion Market, or the COMEX, or any of the silver float that's out there to kind of keep the market going. They have a lot more than anybody. Okay, so they cornered the market. All right, that's like De Beers, like the diamond company, if you know anything about them. So anyway, you could do your research if you want, but what's happening is that today it was smashed down on the COMEX paper Western market. Okay, this is paper. Paper has hundreds of contracts for every one actual ounce. So it's all fiction. It's all delusion. It's all la fantasy land. It's all Disneyland. Okay, none of it is real. Okay, and then China still is trading somewhere above. They're about $89 an ounce, probably higher by the time you see this video. So the real metal, the real price is much higher. Also, I'm going to throw in a screenshot here that on a lot of exchanges, they have a warning that because of volatility, you might not be able to get the metal for a while. That means that at these lower prices, they can't replace it. So you're not going to get it. You can't get it. China is is having much higher prices, up to 89, probably over 90 by now, for the purpose of getting it now. They're saying we'll pay you more today for an ounce than we will later because we don't think you have it later. Because guess what? This is a liquidity crunch. We are in a liquidity crunch, which is why the price dropped today. And I've been saying this to members, and I go into a lot of depth on my calls, okay? This is the liquidity crunch. I've been telling members since, August, September, July, for months and months, we're headed into a liquidity crisis. That's what's happening. Even just a few weeks ago out here on YouTube, if you go back to my Monday videos, I have a little banner saying the government's going to have to add liquidity because the government's going to have to add liquidity. They already started, but that's not enough. They're going to have to add more. So right now, silver is going through some major fluctuations, okay? And that's normal in a parabolic move. If you look at the silver chart right here, that's a parabolic move. When it goes straight up like a hockey stick, that's parabolic. The difference between this and the parabolic Bitcoin charts that I'm familiar with from having been an investor in Bitcoin since 2016 is that the Bitcoin charts like will crash afterwards. We get blow off tops, and you really had to be on it. You had to learn the movements of that market. The difference between that and what we're seeing right now in silver is that silver is truly undervalued. Silver has been held underwater for, you know, since the 70s, right? Silver has been held underwater for the purpose of developing the Western world, okay, on silver, which is in everything. So our entire technological world is based on silver. So what's happening with the breakout of silver is that this isn't enough. It's not enough. It's going to have to go up higher because the true value of silver is actually much higher, and the true rarity of it is actually much less than you can even imagine at the moment. So, this isn't financial advice, of course. I only provide information. You come up with the decision making, right? That's all on you. So the thing here is that silver will in my opinion, keep moving up, okay? And they're doing a lot of games. They're doing a lot of games right now, and a lot of positions are being liquidated in silver and gold, because these big banks and these big entities must raid the cookie jar in order to get the money to pay their other debts, because guess what? The system is in trouble. It's having a debt crisis as well. Guess what? There's a lot of problems in the financial markets. There's a lot of issues. And very few people are giving you the whole picture. You'll hear people talk about silver. You'll hear people talk about the debt crisis. You'll hear people talk about mortgage. And housing. You'll hear people maybe talk about the car industry. But it's all connected. And that's what you come to me for, is because I'm doing astrology, which looks at all of it, right? And how all these pieces move together. So we're headed for a lot more volatility, a lot more chaos. I definitely expect to see 3-figure silver sooner than later. More specifics in my Telegram group. The link is in the description box below. More regular updates, that sort of thing is over there. So that's what's happening with the financial situation, all right? But what's happening with the astrology for us this week, right? Well, the astrology, and when I did my timing report for December, I spoke of specific periods of time when there's really big opportunities for those who can take advantage of them, okay? That would be what's happening with gold and silver. I personally am absolutely, completely, 100% terrified of the paper markets. I don't do anything on the stock market because I expect them to crash. So yes, there could be an opportunity for a very, very well-practiced, very good trader to play this volatility, because of course even in a parabolic move like we're getting, we have to come down and get corrections or tests of lower levels before we go higher. Okay. And that's what's happening. We came back towards the idea of testing $70 or $71. And today we came down to 72. We didn't even touch 71, and now we're up again. We're headed up again. So could we go lower in the next couple days? Unlikely. If we do, we're going to go on a longer, slower move upwards. It's not going to keep this parabolic action. If we touch 70, we're probably, going down. But I don't expect that, okay? I expect that we're going to continue to go up. So just want you guys to understand both scenarios so you can look at the chart and look at the levels and understand, oh, wait, this is a critical level, and we're probably going to drop from here, okay? Because that's how it works. I've got the psychic insight, but it has to agree with the logic. It has to agree with the charts. And that's why I do all that analysis as well. All right. So that's what's happening. Silver is going crazy, and it's going to continue. And I expect massive moves in silver in the next year. So there's that. And then what else is happening with the astrology this week? Well, in my timing report, I said there were big opportunities here during this time window. And there are, if you know what you're doing. You have to know what you're doing. But we also have a couple of other things going on here that are kind of interesting. One general idea about Bitcoin and all the crypto market that I'll give you right now, and then I'll go into more detail tomorrow, is that crypto is kind of being held down for the end of the year, for tax purposes. So you have entities that have a lot of it, want the price to be lower so they can either get losses or not have quite as high a gains to report on their taxes. So it's been kept down. And as we head into the new year, that repression will disappear. Okay. It's also what we just saw on silver, is that the repression basically disappeared because JP Morgan doesn't need to short it anymore because their stockpile, they want the price to go up. But they can crush it along the way in order to punish and steal from the paper traders. That's why I'm scared of stock markets and paper markets around these assets. If you don't hold it, you don't own it. Keep it in your own possession, please. I'm not financial advice. It's just you don't really own it if it's not in your hand or you can't pick it up and touch it. Okay, it's not yours. So there's that. And also this week, astrologically, there's some big scandals that are unfolding regarding very famous people in the fame category who are public eye celebrity type people. I don't know if you've been paying attention, but the Erica Kirk narrative has really turned against her. A lot of stuff has shown up to show her as kind of a creep. So, I mean, I talk about that more in the Telegram group, but she's not what she appears to be at all. And that's what I said from the very beginning in Telegram. So that's that there's more. There's going to be more uncovering and unmasking of some very, very vile, despicable people this week. And as we head into next year, it's going to become stronger because, as I said last week, silver and secrets are linked like that. So when silver goes up, so do the secrets get exposed because that is the principle of what's happening. And also the principle of madness, people going mad, kind of amplified as well during this time frame. So that's kind of wild. And I warned you guys over the week with various videos to be careful of people's, unhinged behavior. That can be friends, that can be neighbors, that can be family members. It could be just unhinged in general. So be on the lookout and protect yourself from that stuff because no one needs it. I just like my peace. That's all I want in my life. Anyway, what else is happening this week? So what's happening right now, Mars crossing the sun is sort of an attack, which is what we just saw in silver. But it's also, in any other way, that's why we had that assassination in Russia. And that's a very big deal because, of course, those kinds of things can trigger conflict, bigger conflict around the world. As we head into the new year, New Year's Day, we have Venus joining up with the sun for a day of affection, appreciation, joy. Those two things are in Capricorn. So, there can be a little bit of worrying, a lot of concern, a lot of what's going on, what's happening. Soothe yourself, calm yourself as best you can. I got to tell you, the reason JP Morgan and Jamie Dimon, who is the head of JP Morgan, the reason he was able to collect all that silver and do what he did during these last decades was because he has ice water going through his veins. The guy has he's not having any stress about this. He's just looking at it as a strategic moves on a chessboard, right? The point here is that you need to be careful. Your feelings can trick you a lot during what's going on right now. And all of this stuff around silver is bringing up any feelings that are unresolved. So it's important to be able to look rationally and think rationally about what's going on and not get all emotional about what's happening in the market. This is job number one. Job number one. If you can't do that, don't trade. Don't trade because you're going to out-psych yourself, okay? It's really important to be able to be separate from your emotions and to keep it balanced in order to do this sort of thing. So, having said that, the other thing going on, of course, right now is that we're headed into an opposition. Mars is going to oppose Jupiter, the Sun's going to oppose Jupiter, and Venus are going to oppose Jupiter in early January. That is going to be a lot of illusions are going to come crashing down when that happens. And it'll be a series of different events that are going to make that happen. Threes, right? Everything comes in threes. You know the saying, it always happens in threes. They die and celebrities go down in threes. Well, this is going to be, it's going to suck the air out of the room. It's going to really change people's point of view on things. And it'll be 1, 2, 3 events, boom, 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 that are going to, knock the pins out of people's, self-illusion, self-aggrandizement, hype. All of that's going to just knock the legs right out from under it. Like I said, celebrities coming off their pedestals. That's the kind of thing that we're going to start seeing, but it's going to be much bigger than that. It's also a lot of conflict with the foreign affairs, with the government, U.S. versus other countries, BRICS, things like that. So get ready, and I will go into it in more detail, of course, as those events happen, because they're not happening this week. like next week, the second week in January, that sort of thing. We're getting set up for some major things to happen. So prepare yourself, brace yourself. Things are getting wild, and the Mars opposing Jupiter is going to be the most aggressive one. So that is the update for the week. Stay centered, stay grounded. Don't let the emotions trick you and psych you out through this crazy market volatility. I'm expecting to see big things happening in the next weeks. And of course, the timing report is coming out on my website, aurorite.media. I do that every month. So the January timing report will give a lot more detail in forecast form of what's coming for the month of January. So if you want that, come join. Also, I do a channeled message every month. That's coming out. And I do a good and bad dates for the month, so you can plan for good dates to buy things, bad dates for starting new things. This is important information to have. And yeah, we do the weekly calls. So weekly VIPs have access to the weekly calls, and then pro members get them every other week. And as soon as you join, you get the timing report. I mean, not the timing, you get the timing report, yes, but you get the trading course for free to help you get an understanding to keep your, wits about you in the market. So you understand how these moves work, right? In all markets, so that you're not going to, get swept into the emotional, side of it. So that is what I have for you guys. Please, of course, like, share, and subscribe, because, my YouTube channel was banned. And of course, I'm starting from scratch. So please share this out to people who could use it and that it will benefit. That's the goal here. The more you like it, the more you share it, the more the algorithm wakes up and the more people get to see it. Oh, one last thought about that. We're leaving the 9-year and we're headed into the 1 year. So it's a good idea, even these next couple of days, to get a jump start on projects you want to get accomplished next year, because we're headed into a 1 year, new beginnings. And then in February, we head into the fire horse, which is galloping wild horses. So you better be ready. And we're headed out of this crazy shedding of skins, which is the snake year. So it's time to get a jump start on the new stuff that you want to get going, because that's going to lead you in the right direction and get a good jump on next year. So thank you. Have a beautiful week. Have a happy New Year's. And I will talk to you later. We're headed into major change. So that's it. I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.